They say the people closest to you hold the sharpest knives. Not strangers, not enemies, the ones who eat at your table, sleep in your bed, call you family. My name is Alex. I was an engineer from Chicago. A man who gave everything and lost it all to the woman I trusted most. But this story doesn't end with me on the floor. It ends with me watching quietly, coldly, as everything they built on lies crumbles to dust. I was not a complicated man. I woke up at 6 every morning, made coffee, packed my bag, drove 40 minutes to a downtown engineering firm where I spent 10 hours solving problems that most people couldn't even understand. I didn't need luxury. I didn't need applause. I just needed purpose. And when I met Diana, I thought I'd found it. She was a single mother. Quiet eyes. Soft voice. A little girl named Lily, 5 years old, holding her mother's hand at a mutual friend's dinner party. Looking up at me with the most curious brown eyes I had ever seen. I smiled at her first, before I even spoke to Diana. That should have told me everything about the kind of man I was. We married within the year. I didn't just marry Diana. I married both of them. Lily's school fees me. Lily's doctor visits me. Lily's birthday parties, her dance recitals, her first bicycle, her first heartbreak me. I never once said she's not my daughter. Not once. Not in 10 years. I coached her school projects at midnight. I waited outside her classroom on parent-teacher days while other men my age were at bars. I was that man. The quiet, steady, there kind of man. And Diana? Diana smiled. Diana said, "I love you." Diana held my hand in public and told her friends she'd married the best man alive. While she was building a second life. His name was Marcus. Diana had known him before me, an old flame. A failed musician turned entrepreneur, which really just meant he had big dreams and empty pockets. But not for long, because somewhere around year 6 of our marriage, Diana started feeding Marcus with money from my accounts. Small amounts at first. A spa weekend that never happened. A family emergency for her cousin who didn't exist. A home repair fund for repairs that were never made. Then, bigger amounts. Business investments. A car. Rent for a downtown apartment, Marcus's apartment that Diana visited every Thursday while I worked late. For 4 years I paid for another man's life and never knew it. Because I trusted her. I believed in her completely. That was my only crime. It started on a Tuesday. I came home to a house that felt different. Diana was sitting at the kitchen table. No dinner cooking. No TV on. Just silence and a folder in front of her. She looked at me with eyes I didn't recognize. Cold. Rehearsed. Ready. I want a divorce, Alex. I sat down slowly. What? Diana, what are you talking about? I haven't been happy. For a long time. I asked her why. She said nothing for a moment. Then, she opened the folder. And she said words that hit me like a fist to the chest. You're a danger to this family, Alex. I have reason to believe you are HIV positive, and you have been hiding it from me. I stared at her. The room tilted. What? But Diana was not done. She slid another paper across the table. Her hands were steady. Her eyes were dry. And Lily has told me some things about your behavior toward her that I cannot ignore. The world stopped. Within a week I was served. Divorce papers. And 2 separate legal complaints. One claiming I knowingly concealed a life-threatening medical condition from my wife. 2 allegations of inappropriate behavior toward a minor. Lily, the little girl I had raised. The child I had loved as my own blood. My name was in court documents. My face was the face of a monster in Diana's prepared statements. And Diana performed. In every hearing, she cried. She shook. She held Lily's hand and looked at the judge with trembling lips. Their lawyer was smooth, experienced, expensive, and me? I sat at my table, pale, quiet, feeling the floor disappear beneath my feet. How do you defend yourself against a lie wrapped in a crying face? His name was Raymond Cole. I found him through a colleague, a former prosecutor turned defense attorney, known in Chicago legal circles for one thing above everything else: he never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Raymond sat across from me the night before the first major hearing and listened to everything. Every detail, every year, every receipt I had saved out of habit because engineers don't throw things away. When I finished, Raymond sat in silence for a long moment. Then he smiled barely and said, "They made a mistake, Alex. They came prepared with emotion. We're going to come prepared with facts. And facts don't cry." Day 1 of the hearing. Diana's lawyer presented their case with theatrical precision. The HIV claim supported by a printed document from an unnamed private clinic. The allegations regarding Lily supported by a written statement from Diana herself, and a recorded audio clip of Lily's voice, carefully edited. Diana wept on cue. Lily sat small and scared in the gallery. The judge looked grave. Then Raymond Cole stood up. He buttoned his jacket slowly. He looked at Diana's lawyer. He looked at Diana, and he began. "Mrs. Diana, you claim your husband was diagnosed with a serious medical condition and concealed it from you. Can you tell the court the name of the clinic that issued this diagnosis?" Diana shifted. I received the documents anonymously. Anonymously, Raymond let the words sit in the air like smoke. "So, you are asking this court to destroy a man's life based on a document from a source you cannot name?" Her lawyer objected. The judge allowed Raymond to continue. "Mrs. Diana, during your marriage, did you have sole access to the family's joint bank account at any point?" "We both had access." "Of course. And can you explain these 19 transactions?" He placed a stack of papers on the table, totaling just over $60,000, transferred over a period of 4 years to an account registered to one Marcus Webb. The courtroom shifted. Diana's eyes flickered. That was personal savings. Family Marcus Webb, Raymond continued calmly, who, according to these lease records, another paper on the table, resided at 412 North Dearborn Street, an apartment for which rent was paid from the joint marital account. My client's earnings. Silence. "Mrs. Diana, you submitted a recorded audio clip as evidence of inappropriate behavior by my client toward your daughter. Is that correct?" "Yes." "And this recording was made in your home?" "Yes." "By you?" "Yes." "On what date?" She named a date. Raymond turned to the judge. "Your Honor, I would like to submit phone records, security system logs, and a signed statement from Alex's supervisor confirming that on the date this recording was allegedly made, my client was in Milwaukee at a company conference 300 miles away." The air left the room. "One final question, Mrs. Diana." He walked closer. Not threatening, just close. "In 10 years of marriage, who attended every parent-teacher meeting for Lily?" She didn't answer. "Who sat with Lily in the emergency room when she broke her arm at age 8? Silence. "Who walked her to school on her first day of middle school because she was afraid and asked for him specifically?" Diana's lawyer whispered something to her. Raymond turned away. He already had his answer. The fake clinic document, traced to a printing shop 2 blocks from Marcus Webb's apartment. The audio recording? A digital forensics expert confirmed it had been edited. Lily's voice, taken from old home videos, spliced together. The HIV claim? My actual medical records, untouched, certified, and current, showed no such diagnosis. Ever. Diana's lawyer went quiet. Diana stopped crying. And Lily, now 15 years old, sitting in that courtroom, watching her mother fall apart under the weight of her own lies, quietly started crying for real. Because she knew. She had always known. I was the only parent who had never let her down. I didn't scream when it was over. I didn't celebrate in the courtroom. I didn't post anything online. I just stood up, straightened my jacket, and walked out. But But Raymond Cole had not been idle. Based on the financial evidence presented, criminal fraud charges were filed against Diana for misappropriation of marital funds. Marcus Webb, who had accepted stolen money for years, was investigated for financial complicity. Diana's carefully constructed world, the apartment, the business, the lifestyle she'd built on my decade of work, froze. Bank accounts seized pending investigation. The car Marcus drove, purchased with my money, repossessed. The business Diana had been funding, built on fraudulent transfers, dissolved. And Diana, facing the very court system she had tried to weaponize against me. 6 months later, I sat at my kitchen table. A smaller apartment now, but mine. No lies in the walls, no performance over dinner. My coffee was hot. The Chicago skyline was cold and bright outside. My phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Alex, it's Lily, I'm sorry. For everything. You were the only real parent I ever had. Can we talk someday? I read it twice. Set the phone down, picked up my coffee. And for the first time in a very long time I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because the truth, slow, quiet, unstoppable, had done what it always does. It survived. They thought they could bury me under fake documents and borrowed tears. They forgot one thing. A man who builds things for a living knows one truth above all others. A structure built on lies always collapses. I didn't destroy them. I just waited and let the truth do what it does best.